All right, so today we're going to be showing you how to water grapevines in the desert. That's coming up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and you're joining us today, and we're actually continuing a series on how we're irrigating our fruit trees, and in this case, grapevines here in the Arizona desert. You know, what you see around me here is actually just one of the varieties. Well, I guess technically you're actually looking at 3 different varieties with these 2 guys on either side of the arbor, but we've got our Black Manuka grapevines here. I'll link the video here so you can take a peek at our harvest of these Black Manuka grapes. But you're looking at our Black Manuka grapes here. So what we wanted to talk about, because we've had a lot of people asking about how we irrigate. So what we're doing is a little series on how we're irrigating different parts or different types of trees and bushes here on the farm. So what we're talking about today is grapevines. So we have a total of 6 of these Black Manukas, 5 Thompson grapevines, and we got 5 flame seedless grapes. So we've got 16 different grapes, including the 2 little guys here. That would be 18 grapes. But we've got 18 individual grapevines that we water on a single zone. So what we're talking about today is zone 2. So what I want to do is I want to take a quick cut and show you what I'm talking about when I say zone 2. Okay, so we're back at the control panel, and the control panel and zone we're talking about today is zone 2. So zone 2 is our grapevines. So this is actually the zone we use specifically for grapevines. We have a couple of trees that are on this zone as well. That'll be important. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But we're on zone 2. So zone 2, I believe is on schedule B. It is on schedule B. So again, when we're running our zones, we don't run them the same day or back to back. Because we're on a well, we're sharing water with everyone else. We don't want to be draining our well. Zone 2, again, we have set for 3 hours. So zone 2 goes on for 3 hours at a time. And right now, middle of August, we've got that set for 3 days a week. So more on zone 2. Okay, so now we're back to the grapevines themselves. So what I'm standing in front of here is a grapevine that is my favorite. It's our flame seedless grapes. We've been in front of this grapevine, this particular vine, multiple times. I'll link at least one of those videos here that's talking about this one, but this is our flame seedless grape. So we've got 5 of these flame seedless grapes, but again, we've got 18 different grapes that are actually on this one zone. Now, in addition, we actually have a handful of trees that are also on this zone. Those trees are actually watered with kind of our normal specs, so to speak. So like we talked about in our first video, and I'll link it here if I haven't done so already, we talked about zone 1, and we talked about our standard watering of fruit trees, how we have the 3 4-gallon emitters that are around the tree. We have a few of those that are actually on this exact same zone just because of their proximity to our grapevine, our vineyard. So what we needed to do in this scenario is we needed to be able to adjust the amount of water at the tree themselves. So what we've done with our grapevines, and I'll have Lori pan down, we've actually taken just a single emitter. So we've got 1 4-gallon emitter. So each one of these vines, again, there's 18 vines that we have surrounding our garden beds. So each one of these vines is going to get 4 gallons an hour. Again, we run it at 3 hours, 3 days a week. So in the end, we're going to get about 35 to 40 gallons. Technically it's 36, but I don't know if it's exactly that, but figure it's about 30 to 40 gallons of water each and every week at our peak season. We're in peak season now because it's August. So we've got peak season going on. So we got these running 4 gallons per hour, 3 hours each day, 3 days a week. Well, not each day, but each time it waters 3 days a week. So now the question, I guess, is probably going to be, and it would be for me as well, is why do we have this so close to the actual trunk of the vine? The main reason for that is our spacing on our vineyard. So each one of our vines is about 6 feet apart, give or take. You know, it's not exact, but it's about 6 feet apart. So I've got this vine here, I've got another one here that's about 6 feet away. Well, each and every one of these actually has an emitter, has that 4-gallon emitter, and it's getting water. Well, at 6 feet, I can guarantee you these vines are already basically together. So they've come together, they're actually taking water from each other. So they're getting plenty of water, which is obvious evidence of the growth of these vines. So even though we're watering a little closer to the base, and we only have 1 on each one of these vines, they do share water because they're so close together. And then of course we wood chip around, well, this entire area because our garden beds are back behind us here. But we have a nice thick layer of wood chip mulch, which keeps the water damp. It also keeps the water damp between each one of the vines. So it's very easy for the roots to spread out. And then of course we haven't really done much as far as annual gardening yet, but once we do, we have additional water there, and of course these roots are already there, so they're already going to be out that far anyway, so they'll steal water from there. They'll kind of steal water from wherever they need to, but we got plenty of water down here. And then of course what we do with those other trees, we're still watering those other trees that I talked about that are on the zone. We're still watering those with the 3 4-gallon emitters that are around the tree. So those trees are still getting that 100 gallons or so a week at peak season. They're still getting 100 gallons or so a week during peak season, even though they're on the same zone, by just increasing the number of emitters that we have around the tree. So that's how we have this set up. Talked a little bit about the watering system here. So we talked a little bit about how we have water to each one of our vines. What I want to talk a little bit more about is how we actually use a riser. We use a single riser for all 5 of these vines. Again, trying to conserve resources here as best we can. So we have the control valve, which is not far away from us here, or the control panel that controls the valves. We have the valves open and bring water over to us. And then we have a single PVC line that runs underneath me here. And what this PVC line has attached to it is a riser, just a standard riser they would use for like a, I don't know, a sprinkler for your lawn or something. So we have a single riser, and I want to show you that and show you how we're actually watering all 5 of these vines with a single riser. So if Lori wants to slide in. So what we've done is we've just taken a valve cover. So I've got a basic valve cover here, and you'll see you've got just a standard 1/2-inch riser right here. And then what I have is I have this little head right here that actually splits it up into 6 different little 1/4-inch drip lines. So we're only using 5. You'll see one of them here is still capped, but I've got 5 drip lines, and those 5 drip lines go out to all 5 of our grapevines. So we use a single riser, split 5 times to water this little row of flame grapevines. All right, so that wraps up zone 2 and our grapevine watering. So just want to thank you for joining us today. And you know what, if you haven't done so already, hey, subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. We cover a lot of different topics here on the channel during the summertime, peak season for our trees and our fruit trees. That's what we're concentrating on now. We've got a lot of stuff coming up through the rest of summer and of course into fall and our livestock production. A lot of cool stuff coming up. So hey, subscribe to our channel. And hey, you know what, if you have any questions or comments, hey, leave them in the comment section down below. You know, we really love interacting with you guys. You know, we try to cover as much detail in a few of these irrigation videos as we can, but you know, you may have some additional questions or even suggestions. Hey, leave them in the comment section down below. We'd love to interact with you. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere. And it was about that big, man.